So here I am supposed to speak about me. I am probably my least favorite subject. What do you say? I love diving into deep, dark worlds. Ever since I was a kid, my writing actually used to be much more violent as a kid, and it's probably been subdued a lot as I've grown older. But I grew up drawing comic book stuff and writing comic books with my friends from high school, and I love that stuff. And I always gravitated towards the darker things. I love Punisher, of course, Wolverine, the darker characters, and I love big concepts. And like the Forever People is a very big concept. I love trying to answer things that have never been asked as a question sometimes, or there are so many things in the universe that are unanswerable, and we try to place our own answers on it. And I think that's fascinating. And there's a movie in every question that you can think of. And I think of a why a lot. Why this? Why that? And I see a bird coming out of a shell, and I think, what if humans came out of a shell like that? So all these questions just kind of, pop in my head all the time. And so I write them down. I put them in my phone or write them on a notepad or something. I've always done that just because I don't want the ideas to disappear. I love ideas. I love high concept stuff. Sometimes they're too high concept because it's hard to kind of pinpoint and put down into a commercial package. I think that not all questions need to be answered. You probably have questions in your life that will never be answered. And even when you move on from this planet, it won't be answered. Maybe it will. I don't know. But I love diving into those darker things. I love seeing things from different people's perspectives. That's why I have my books, a lot of them, from different people's perspectives. The book is told from one person's point of view. And then in another book, that same character might be in it, but it's told from a different perspective, and you see it in a totally different light. And with the Forever People, what I am doing, and depending on when you see this, maybe I've already done it, is in the first series of books, it will be from the perspective of a woman who is a victim of Forever People. In the second series, it will be from a person who hunts Forever People. And in the third series, it will be from the perspective of a woman who discovers she is a forever person. It's starting off with a prequel, which is a short, it's not even a novella technically, but that is from the perspective of someone who is a forever person. Did I just spoil that for you? But it's told in a much different way, more of a Twilight Zone-esque kind of feel. And I always love that kind of creepy Twilight Zone-esque because it kind of crosses genres. I love thinking from different people's perspectives because we all think we're right with our perspective. We all do. And that's the thing. Just because it's from somebody's perspective, whether it's Solomon Ivy or Maggie Walker, it doesn't mean they're right. It just means that it's their perspective. And that's what I love, is they think they're right. We all do. I also love diving into the deep answers and questions of our psyche. For example, we say we won't kill. But if somebody's threatening your family, would you kill that person to protect your family? And so I have such a high interest in raising those questions to the surface and bringing them to light because people think they don't exist or they just avoid them, they ignore them. And I want to bring them to the light and say, no, it's a valid question. Is there really an answer, or is it just what you choose? I love that kind of stuff. And it leads to dark fantasy. It leads to horror sometimes. It leads to creepiness. It leads to a lot of cool action and dark characters and multi-dimensional characters. And that's the kind of character I love to write. So I don't know if this is more about me or about my work, but that's an extension of me. And so I love capturing that emotion. I love characters who are emotionally raw and real. What I mean by that is, how do I explain this now? Characters that hide their feelings quite often, because a lot of people do. You don't say what's on your heart all the time. You say what You say for fear of judgment, or for a different agenda that you have, or because you want something, or because you're afraid of something. And so we rarely speak on the nose. And so all this human stuff, with all the creatures and the monsters and the fantastical cosmic stuff, it all still boils down to humanity. Because that is the biggest question there is, isn't it? It's not a period after humanity, it's a question mark. And that's what I've always loved to boil down to, is the question mark. So that's a little bit about my work, maybe something about me. I also design. I'm a graphic designer as well as a video producer, director, producer, and kind of do a little bit of everything in my media company. And I'll be putting out trailers for a lot of my books. And so that's going to be a ton of fun too. So hopefully I can make a living on this and just be me. And hopefully that's enough. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you coming to the site. And if you bought a book, thank you so much. I hope you get a lot out of it. I hope it's so much fun for you. And hopefully I can bring you more.